You end up doing a repeat.
Even eyes are.
And the eyes not allowed, yeah, because of the collimation. Because of collimation, nothing for the eyes. All right, any questions? Okay, so here we have a chest x-ray, okay? Most chest x-rays you will see that the clavicle comes down at an angle like this, okay? Which places you at the level of about 2, 3, or T4, where the SC joint is located. This is about T3, T4. Now, when you do an AP lordotic, look what happens to the clavicles. The clavicles gets projected above the APCs. And also look at the orientation of the ribs, because now they look more horizontal. Do they look a little bit more horizontal? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they look a little bit more horizontal. Okay? But naturally, your ribs come down inferior on your anterior part, right? Or I'm sorry, your posture comes a little bit more downward like this. So with that angulation, it straightens it up. All right. All right, let's talk about obliques. Obliques. The whole purpose of the oblique is to evaluate one of the lungs. Ooh, we're gonna smoke out. Great American Smoke Out. Parking lot. Give me just a moment here. I need to respond to that. No, I'm just kidding. Hang on. Okay, let's go back over here. All right. So the whole purpose of doing obliques is to evaluate one of the lungs. In doing so, what we're doing is we're trying to open up or spread out the anatomy of that particular lung. Because you were three-dimensional, your lung and your ribs aren't completely flat. There's some angulation to it. Okay? There's some dimension to it. Bless you. So one of the things that we'll do here, let's first look at this RAO. Everybody agree this is an RAO? Mm-hmm. RAO? Mm-hmm. Right anterior oblique? Yeah. When you're doing an anterior oblique, you are looking at the lung that is furthest away from the image receptor. Okay? So this is an RAO. We're going to be looking more particularly at the left set, the left lung. Okay? So let's go ahead and, so let's just say that you guys are the image receptor. Okay? I'm going to place my patient in an RAO position. This is the right side. Agree? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to place them in an RAO position. Okay? Look what happens to the left lung. It becomes more open. The ribs become elongated, and it puts this lung in true profile. So the right becomes foreshortened, whereas the left becomes open. It opens it up. So if we go back to our radiographic image here, sorry about that. Sorry about that. What happened here? Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the position, and I'll show you the radiograph. Okay, so here we have an RAO. All that we're simply doing here is, yes, we still want to be at the level of T7. Now the centering becomes a little bit more convoluted over here, because it's saying here that you want to center your central ray midway between this spine and the lateral border of the side that's furthest away from the image receptor. So midway between the spine and the outer body margin. So it's going to be from here to here is where you're going to direct your central ray. Okay? It's easier for me, should be easier for you too, is that feel for both sides, and place the patient in the middle of your field. So I'm not going to go between here and here. I'm just going to find both borders, and I'm going to place it right in the middle of my field. Does that make sense? Okay? Yes? No? So I'm going to feel for both sides. I'm going to look at both sides after I oblique them, and I'm going to place the body part in the middle. If you choose to do this, you can go ahead and do this too. This is fine. Okay? But then it becomes a little bit confusing. Well, what about breast tissue? If breast tissue is right here, isn't that their outer margin? Now you're going to find where the actual true margin is without figuring out which is outer margin, which is breast tissue. So I just grab their hips and I just place them in the middle of my light field.
So just put them in the middle.
Just put them in the middle. Put the body part in the middle. But for test purposes,
It's midway between the spine.
I'm going to teach you what the book says, but then I'm going to apply it to more practical sense to make it easier guys to understand. So for test purposes, it's between the mid-sagittal plane and the outer border of the side that's up. Okay? Place the patient in 45-degree obliquity. We are looking at both sets of lungs. It's like a chest x-ray, but they're obliqued. So we're looking at both sets. All right? So again, we are looking at the side furthest away in an anterior oblique. So if the patient was RAO, we're looking at the left side. If they were LAO, we're looking at the right side. So here we have an RAO. RAO, what are we looking at?
Left side.
The left side. So the left side is more open. The rib is more elongated. So the ribs on the affected side of interest is going to be twice as long as the side not in interest. It doubles in length. You guys see that? So the affected side doubles in length. But what we're also doing here is we're opening up the lungs in this projection. So go back over here. So here's RAO. Okay, the right is shortened, whereas the left side becomes elongated. And if I flip them the other way, if I'm doing an LAO, see how that opens up? The left is foreshortened, but now the right side is wide open. Okay, so this is an LAO. This is an RAO. Foreshortened, this opens up. RAO. LAO. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Want me to do that again?
We concur.
Okay. All right. Now, mirror. Let's mirror this. Okay, this is an LAO, right? This is an LAO.
Mm-hmm.
If this is an LAO, if I wanted to do it in a posterior oblique, which posterior oblique will look at the right side? Huh? Uh-huh. If this is an LAO, to look at the right, what do we do for posterior oblique? LPO.
LPO.
The side closest. So now I'm going to flip my patient over, okay? And I'm going to place them in an LPO position. Look what happens. I'm sorry, LPO. Okay? So now in an LPO, it's the side down, the side closest. See how this gets elongated and this gets foreshortened? So this is your LPO, and this is your RPO to look at the right. It's the mirror. Want me to show you again? No, okay. What position is this? RPO, LPO. So on a posterior oblique, we're looking at the side down. Anterior oblique, we're looking at the side up or side away. Very good, thank you. All right. So here, RAO, we're looking at the left side. Distance from the outer rib margin to the vertebral column on the side of interest is twice the distance of the other side, so it doubles in length. So RAO, we're looking at the left. LAO, we're looking at the right. The right is elongated while the left is foreshortened. Okay? Same thing, take a deep breath in, blow it out, take a deep breath in, and hold it. The central ray doesn't change in any of these images that we've been talking about. It's always at the level of what?
T7.
T7. right, Q7. Posterior oblique, same thing. 45-degree obliquity, except now we're looking at the side down. Okay. They have the arm out of the way because if you oblique them with the arm down, the arm is going to be imposed within the structure here. Again, we're looking at it bilaterally, so we want to get all other structures out of the way. Okay? RPO, which side are we looking at?
Right side.
Right side. LPO.
Left side.
Left side. Okay. Questions? Okay. How many more slides do we have?
Like
8 million?
10, like 10 more.
Oh, 10 more? Okay, so we're doing good. Okay, I'll be fast. Okay. So that was the evaluation of the lower respiratory airway. So now let's look at the upper airway. Our upper airway is basically from your oral pharynx to the laryngopharynx. It's your throat. All right. So your basic views are going to be your lateral and your AP. I don't know why they're doing it this way first, but let's go ahead and look at the lateral. Okay, starting with the lateral. With the lateral, it doesn't matter which way. You can do left lateral, you can do right lateral. It doesn't matter. But since we're used to doing things in a left lateral orientation, it's probably best to just go ahead and do it in a left lateral. Which position is this?
Right lateral.
Right lateral, okay. So here's a right lateral. You're going to use a small image receptor, and I'll open up your field to about 10 by 12, lengthwise. 10 by 12 lengthwise, okay? Again, upper airway. Your central ray is going to be directed at the level of C6-7, which is midway between the laryngeal prominence, okay, your Adam's apple, and your jugular or your sternal notch. So midway between there. 72 inches. Why 72 inches?
Because of the OID?
Because of the OID. Look at the net versus the image receptor. You got a huge gap in between. So 72 inches will be appropriate for your SID. Okay? Shoulders are back, chin slightly up. We are looking at the upper airway. So this will be done while the patient is breathing. While the patient is breathing. Because we're trying to fill the airway with air. All right? So it's slow, deep inspiration is what the book tells you. For test purposes, yes, do slow, deep inspiration. Okay? But how do I know if they're doing it correctly? Okay? So here's the trick of my trade. When I used to do upper airway, okay, shoulders slightly back, chin up, I would have them hum.
Hum for me.
Hum, yeah. Miss Jones, I'd like you for you to hum.
Like what?
I would
Yeah.
be so confused if you told me that.
Okay.
For real.
Yeah. But why am I doing that? This is to validate that there is air going through the trachea because you can't vocally make a sound without air going through. You like that?
Hum for me.
Hum.
Then you know that how long they're releasing.
Exactly. All right. So air-filled trachea and larynx are demonstrated. Okay. Shoulders should not be superimposed over the trachea. Collimation is evident by, again, collimating to an area of 10 by 12. With what kind of exposure factors do we want here? Because we're not looking at bone. Okay. We're looking at the soft tissue in the trachea. So I'm going to be using maybe a lower KV, right? Because we're looking at soft tissue. I'm not looking at bone. We're looking at the trachea and the surrounding soft tissue. So you're going to need to decrease your exposure factors. Okay? Can we see the upper respiratory? Isn't this it right here? So if you fill up the tract appropriately and accordingly, you will see the respiratory tract of the upper margin. Okay? What's behind that?
Esophagus.
Esophagus. Trachea anterior, esophagus posterior. All right. And then here we have the upper airway, same thing for AP. We're going to be at the level of T1, T2, which is 1 inch above the jugular notch. T1, T2, which is approximately 1 inch above the jugular notch. Again, I don't know why. I mean, it's still midway between the
It's the same
prominence.
thing, right?
It's the same thing. It's just another way of saying it. All right. Their AML. Here is a new acronym for you guys. AML stands for acanthomeatal line.
What?
I'm sorry. Slower?
Acanthomeatal line.
Where's the end part?
Acanthomeatal line.
Repeat that sound?
I just made it up. Okay. What that? Give me a second. It's this line right here. It's your lower jaw line.
Why can't we just say that?
Because that's too easy. So
Lower.
it's your lower jaw line is we want it perpendicular to the image receptor. AML.
I'm gonna go with lower jawline.
Hold on. Okay, let me regress here. What I'm saying is use the lower jaw line, make it perpendicular to the image
Have
receptor.
to like tilt the head.
What
up.
the acanthomeatal line is referring to the outer canthus of your eyes. Okay, that's the canthus. This is your canthus. This is your canthus. And the meatus is the opening of your ear. Okay, that's your outer auditory meatus. So it's a line that goes from here to here. And we're trying to get that perpendicular with the image receptor. But it's a lot easier if you just look at the lower jawline and put that perpendicular to the image receptor. Okay? Yeah, this is a new term. This is a skull landmark that we haven't discussed yet. That's why I'm sticking down here to what you know. AML stands for acantho, A-C-A-N-T-H-O, meatal, acanthomeatal line. Acantho, M-E-A-T-A-L.
Dr.
Yes.
In the book, it's a can't be.
Yeah, I know. Tomato. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. But aren't we finding out that the book is more wrong than I am?
Of course. Always. Every time.
All right, any questions? So we'll be spending more of these different planes when we get to the skull, and there's probably, I think, maybe 12 that you need to know.
Yes.
About 12. This is just one of them.
Started with this, so people can
A what? What? All right. Which is better, left or right?
Left.
Identify the repeatable errors and critique of PHs. Oh, okay. So repeatable errors. That's your standard. This is critique. Oh, so what happened here?
Not enough ribs.
Well, not only is there enough ribs, what else happened?
Yeah, they
Cut off.
Okay, so we're missing the lateral edge to that, so that's clipped off. Okay, I think we have good inspiration. Technique is pretty good because we can see behind the heart, not so much here, but I think that's pretty good. Is this, I mean, if we didn't cut off the left side, is it acceptable?
Yeah.
It would be acceptable. I think it would be okay. All right?
There's you can count 10 ribs there?
I wasn't counting. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9. What did I say? It was good?
Yeah.
Okay, I take it back.
Okay.
Could they have a better inspiration?
Yes.
They could have, okay. But again, it's one of those things, okay, so 9 ribs are demonstrated. Would it warrant a repeat? Probably not. Okay? But for a good inspiration, you want to see about 10 ribs. Okay? If I see 9, I'm not going to go back and repeat that. Okay? But that's the standard, 10 ribs. Okay. How about here? Identify the repeatable error on the critique lateral chest radiograph. Here is your standard. Here is your repeat.
Too much rotation.
Too much
Holy
rotation.
smokes. We have what?
Double.
That's a huge gap. That's a fist. Okay, this is grossly rotated. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Grossly rotated. What else is wrong with this image? There's a couple of things wrong with this. Okay, we got too much abdomen.
Mhm.
Thin patient.
Chin.
Okay, chin. Yeah, so the chin could have come up a little bit. But look at it's a thin patient, so could I have collimated a little bit more tighter?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. So collimation, rotation, chin we can get up out of the way. All right. How about this one?
What the marker? What the heck?
He swallowed a marker.
Oh yeah, it's on the wrong side. This should be a right.
It's in the field.
Oh, it's in the field. Okay, so it's in the field. That shouldn't be there. Okay, that wasn't obvious. Okay, how about central ray? Are we too high or too low? We got too much neck on there, right?
Yeah, that's too high.
And we're getting pretty close to cutting off the angles. So they centered a little bit too high. Okay, because we're getting too much neck. We should have brought it down a little bit of less of neck and a little bit more of the angles. Okay, technique-wise,
It's good.
pretty good. It's okay, right? Long scale. You can see behind the heart. You can see the thoracic spine. Is there any rotation?
No.
Not too bad, right? So it's a properly positioned. Technique is good. Position is good. It's just for that dang marker. They should have used the right. Okay, what's wrong with this one? Identify the repeatable error. Same thing. What's going on here?
Rotation.
Two ribs. I think that was the previous image, right? Oh, we're also cutting the angles off here, right? Chin. Okay, too much again. Too much chin and neck. We should have came down. We should have came down a little bit more, so we didn't cut this off. Everybody agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Repeatable errors. A or present in both. Okay, so both needs repeatable errors. They have repeatable errors. Okay. What's
There's an
going on?
artifact on the right.
Artifact on the right. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that up
And they
there.
included way too much of the abdomen.
Okay, too low, too much abdomen. How about technique?
Technique's good.
I think the technique's
Technique
okay.
is good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Collimation, yeah, I think we could collimate a little bit better once we get it properly, properly positioned. Technique is good. How about position-wise? Any rotation?
No.
We're good. Okay, how about over here? What's wrong with this one?
Too contrasty.
Yeah,
It's like tilt.
Okay, long scale
Oh,
is
those are
good.
boobs.
No rotation.
Oh.
What is this right here?
I don't know.
That's the aortic notch. Okay, so this is where the arch comes over your aortic arch. This is the knob of the arch. It's just basically the arch facing you in its cross section, so it's pointing right at you. Okay, so there's a question right here. Did you guys see that?
Is it?
It's the snaps on the bra.
That's what that
Bra
is?
snap. Position's good, contrast is good. Maybe a little bit too high, I can bring it down a little bit, but this is an artifact repeat. Okay, this is also an artifact repeat. Look at that.
What is that? Is that a button or what?
That's the button from the jeans.
Is
That's
it?
how low they are. As you can see the buttons on the jeans.
I think those
A little high-waisted.
You know, I noticed that's coming back again.
High-waist?
It's been back for a few years.
Sorry.
Just keeps returning, man.
I know. I should have kept my shorts.
Yeah, you should have.
Not for men. It's not back for men.
We haven't gone that far yet.
All right.
Eventually.
What's wrong here, guys? Let's look at this one.
Which one? That one? Collimation.
Collimation, what else? We're missing, look what's happening here. We're completely cutting off the angle on that one.
Over rotation.
Okay, so we have some rotation, right? Is it that bad that it needs to repeat?
Yeah, it's
I'm
about
gonna
it's
tell
about
you
a thumb.
what's happening over here. There's no rotation here, but there's rotation up here. Okay? It's possible that this patient has scoliosis. Someone who has scoliosis, you're not going to be able to get that superimposition. Okay? All right, guys. Are we done?